what you need. Oh no, no. You're misbehaving. Yeah, it's getting to me. It's not the ending. You can give anything, so you can go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Yeah, so I can focus. I just need to focus on myself. Oh, you better go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Yeah, so I can focus. I just need to focus on myself. Yeah, so you can go, go, go. Go, 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 go. So I can focus. I just need to focus on myself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You better go, go, go. Go, 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 go. So I can focus. I just need to focus on myself, baby, baby. Hear it on the phone. If you got something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face. You're so. And I quit my job for you, even quit some friends for you, 'cause you couldn't stand it, me all independent, so you had to have me for yourself. That was when I trusted you, when I could add up 2 and 2, when you promised we'd be together, you, me, forever. Now there's nothing left to lose. And though I understand it's hard sometimes to make up your mind in these trying times, yeah, I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart so heavy. Think that I deserve the truth for once, not a guilty tone, 'cause you're not alone, yeah. You said you wanna come home, but I know you don't. So this time I won't hear it all.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Today is Friday. It is March 4th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining us. I am still on location and my signal is not the best, but we're going to do our best to get through today's episode. As always, I'm going to be joined by Dr. Carl Mack. He is going to be joining us and continuing to helm the show. I am going to yield to him as soon as he is available, but I want to thank him for holding it down so magnificently over the last few days with the brilliant conversations as it pertains to Ukraine. And today we'll be joined by Sovsun. She is a member of parliament of the Ukrainian parliament. Now, it's important that we get these conversations directly from the people there, because what's happening there is something that cannot be tolerated. And we have to figure out, how do we accomplish this? How do we stop Putin's aggression without leading to war? This requires nuance. And we're going to have that conversation today. And then, as always, we'll be picking up with On the Clock. Georgia Fort she's on location as well. There's a lot happening around the country. So while we keep our eye on the international stage, we also want to keep our eye here domestically, because, as I'm driving around Jacksonville and connecting with the people here, and again, I want to thank the people here locally on the ground who have welcomed me so wonderfully. I just can't say thank you enough for the camaraderie from the folks on the ground here in Jacksonville on the project we're working on. They're concerned about Ukraine, as we all should be. And I know a lot of times people like to get a little, indifferent and say, well, what does that have to do with Black people? Well, it has a lot to do with Black people when you consider the people on January 6th are willing to turn this country over to Vladimir Putin for the sake of being anti-woke. So as we see Vladimir's, and also, just to get out of pocket just a little, I think it's time for us to put things in perspective as it pertains to Vladimir Putin himself. He likes to consider himself to be a great man, but not every great man in history is a good man. Vladimir Putin. We'll discuss that as well. And I have all of our friends. I have everybody around us. Georgia Ford is doing her thing. Shout out to DJ Exclusive. He'll be joining us momentarily or throughout the show. Rebecca Azor. Thank you too. They called me yesterday. They said, Ben, you're not looking good. What you going through, homie? So thank you for reaching out and touching base with me. It's really simple. I just have to get an assistant. You can't do all things by yourself. And so we got one, and now things are square. So my apologies to my team who held it down while I was gone. I'm going to do better with my communications going forward, because we have a lot of work to do. That said, I want to go into the conversation, and as soon as Dr. Mack is ready, let me know. I will defer to him. But I want to begin the conversation with a member of parliament, Sovsun, and please forgive me if I am mispronouncing your name, but thank you so much for joining us this morning.
That would be Sovsun. You did quite well. Hi.
Good morning to you, and we just want to extend to you and the people of Ukraine our heartfelt solidarity, I think is the right word. Tell us what's happening there.
So I'm in Kiev, the capital. It is much better here compared to other parts of the country. So in Kiev, we are second week of war. I can't believe I'm saying this sentence, actually. We do hear air raid alerts from time to time, but it seems like air defense systems have been working well around Kiev so far. So we do not have major targets hit by the Russian missiles, which they are sighting from neighboring Belarus, just north from Kiev. The city is under curfew, so you can only go outside for a couple hours a day, and that is not extremely safe because there are groups of infiltrators who are just walking around the city and they can start shooting randomly at cars, at people. We had this terrific terrible incident when this infiltrators group, they just opened a fire on the car that was driving by, and there was a family with 3 children there, and one of the girls, she was 7, she was killed on spot, and 2 other kids are still struggling for their life in the hospital. So that is the situation in Kyiv, but again, it is relatively safe compared to other cities in Ukraine. So you are seeing now several other cities. My heart pains particularly because of the city of Kharkiv, which is the second biggest city in Ukraine on the east of Ukraine. You can see it over there. It has been so heavily bombarded by the Russians from air. It's just unbelievable. I'm seeing those explosions and I just can't believe that this is happening in my native city. I did see bombs exploding like 5 minutes walk from my school. I'm getting messages from my former classmates, my former teachers over there in Kharkiv, and they all are saying one and the same. This is an act of genocide, what Putin is doing to us in Kharkiv, and please let the whole world know what he is doing to us. They are bombarding the city from air. The air defense in Kharkiv is not as strong as in Kyiv, and it's just terrible over there, as well as in several other cities all over Ukraine.
Now, Ina and Ben, let me jump in for a minute. Ina, again, I'm coming to you from the state of Maryland, and it is no doubt that certainly throughout America and all over the world,
Absolutely.
Our hearts of solidarity are with you. And so, Ina, one of the things I want to ask is the reporting. You know, you said it's important that we continuously report on the genocide of what Putin is doing. I know that there's efforts by Putin and Russia to take out all communications and report only that things are so well and they're working in such a humanitarian way. What is the reporting like of his efforts? Although I know you all see it, are your telecommunications systems still up that the people of Ukraine can see what advancements and what genocidal efforts Putin is making right now?
That is indeed true. We do realize that his war is not just by weapons, but also by information. And actually, he did manage to get into this war because of the propaganda machine that he set initially in Russia. But then he was also using that with like Russia Today television channels all over the world. And it pains me to realize that like none of the Western countries did manage to block that up until very recently. I believe had the Russia Today channels and other channels on YouTube at least would have been blocked, the situation would have been different. But the situation in Ukraine in terms of access to information is very good right now. Apart from several areas where the connection was put down mainly by the Ukrainian forces. So other than that, the connection is well. We do have the internet. There is a vibrant social network sphere. Mainly Facebook and Telegram are being used to get information. I think the first week of war, everyone just learned the sources, that double-check the sources of information. Also, all the television channels, and that is extremely not typical for Ukraine, they all joined forces. So when you turn on the TV, like regardless of which channel you are on, they will be showing one and the same things with TV hosts from completely different channels. Some of them were such enemies before in political scene, but right now they're all reporting the same, just to make sure that everyone has access to the same information. The Russians did try to hit the TV tower in Kyiv, but they failed. Again, air defense system in Kyiv is working, unlike other cities. So they failed to destroy the tower, but they did kill 5. It appears to be a family of 5 with that missile attack. We still don't know because their bodies were just burned to such a big extent. We still don't know the names of the people who were killed in that blast. But the TV tower is standing. The TV is on, and the social media and the internet is on. So that's okay, and that does help us not just in terms of getting the information, but also coordinating the resistance efforts. That is extremely important right now. Because what Putin failed to realize is that Ukraine is a democracy. I'm representing an opposition party. I have so many criticism of our government, and we shall proceed to that after the victory. But I still recognize Ukraine to be a democracy in a sense that people do have a say, and people do have a voice, and people are acting on their own, not just when the government is telling them to do. So now we are seeing those huge efforts on the side of the civil society in Ukraine to help fight this the crazy invasion. And people are doing that not because someone at top told them to do, like that is happening in Russia, but actually just because they want to. And that is why this resistance is so difficult to fight against, because there is no one on top that you can just take down and then everything will cripple, because the system of resistance is so decentralized. It does rely a lot on the internet. So that is crucial for us to support as of now. But in terms of infrastructure, it is all well for the time being.
So Ina, let me also ask this question: is, you're saying that you're a member of the opposition party, but how important? And I want to ask two-part question: how important do you think it is for you all as members of parliament of the Ukrainian democratic government to, number one, show solidarity and stay together in this time of crisis, number one, and then number two, I know that the U.S. has provided sanctions. I know some of the things that NATO has done. But at this point, can you just tell the world what is it that you all as the Ukrainian people need? And obviously, the United States and NATO have spoken about not being able to put boots on the ground. But tell the world what it is that you need right now to ensure the victory of the Ukrainian people against this mobster known as Putin.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. So in terms of the political situation, it is true. We all stay united right now. And if someone told me like 10 days ago that I would be saying this phrase, I wouldn't believe. Like, trust me, the political competition here is fierce. We do disagree with the government on so many positions, but that really doesn't matter right now. In order to continue our disagreements, we need a country. And that is our primary goal, is just to save our country. Actually, the only political party whose MPs are not staying united are the MPs from the pro-Russian group. And they all have actually fled the country, days leading to the war or the first days of war. And as hypocritical as that is, they have all left for Western countries. So their pretense of love of Russia was just a pretense, a love of the money from Putin, not actual recognition of whatever values Putin claims to represent. So in terms of your second question, what we are asking for from the West, you are shown those pictures right now, like this explosion in Kharkiv. This, I think, is in, I'm not sure where, this one is in Borodyanka, which is in Kyiv region. There was a missile attack yesterday in Chernihiv, which is like 100 kilometers north from Kyiv. They destroyed a whole residential building, 9 floors. The recent data is 49 people killed in one single blast. They destroyed a residential building in Zhytomyr, which is a bit to the west from Kyiv, 100 kilometers to the west. And we are still calculating the casualties. That is the city of, I believe that was the town of Irpin, which is 40 kilometers north of Kyiv, and that is being completely bombarded, particularly from air. So the number one thing, and probably a matter of survival for us, is to ensure a no-fly zone over Ukraine. We are not asking for boots on the ground. We realize that, that's not an option. But no-fly zone is something we need so badly. Just look at that. That was like that video we just saw is from Kharkiv, my native city. They are bombarding Kharkiv so much. It's unbelievable. And we just cannot protect our citizens there. So no-fly zone is the biggest thing we are asking for. It's crucial for our survival, for the survival of our kids. We are ready to fight on the ground. I believe Ukrainian army, we had this, this meme around the social media saying that, well, if this is Ukrainian army auditioning for NATO, we think we're doing a pretty good job in kicking asses. Russians who are trying to invade our country with a much bigger army, but they can't proceed on the ground. The only power they have is in air. That is the only way where they can prevail. So we are asking for a no-fly zone. We are asking for fighter jets in order to be able to destroy those bastards. Because what they're doing, it pains me to see that. There is a story that just breaking my heart. In Kharkiv, 3 days ago, twins were born in a bunker in the underground. And the next day, both the mother and the father of those twins were killed in another bombardment. This is just a story of so many other people. They have killed over 20 people, over 20 children in Ukraine, over 2,000 people, and those are mostly from air. That is why we're asking for no-fly zone, and we believe we have the right to ask for that. because Ukraine did give up our nuclear weapon in 1994, which we had from the Soviet times, in exchange for guarantees from the West of our security.
Yes.
We do have guarantees. That is on writing. That was the promise that we were given by the Americans, by the Brits. And now that is not being kept because they say that that will involve we in direct conflict with Russia. Well, here is what I think about that, is that let's imagine the worst case scenario. Let's imagine Russians do destroy Ukraine and get to take control of the whole of Ukraine. Then it will mean they will get to the Polish border. And they have already said that they don't want Poland in NATO, so they will invade Poland. They have already said that they don't like the level of neutrality of Finland, so they can attack Finland anytime. I was actually speaking to Finnish MPs just today, and they realized the danger. So then the West will have to intervene. But so we are just asking to get on that earlier rather than later to be able to save thousands of civilians' lives from that fascist that Putin is.
And so, Anna, given that that there was a deal struck where Ukraine at one time had the third largest arsenal of nuclear weapons, and they gave them up for these guaranteed protections, why is it, and you can speak very plainly to this, why is it that you think the West, I get the conflict with Putin, but are there capitalistic reasons that you believe the West is not honoring that agreement of protecting Ukraine, that you all haven't given up your nuclear arsenal?
I think there is an air raid alert. I think I heard something exploding. Sorry, I just have to double check what is happening.
Yes, please make sure you're safe.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I think it is further there. Oh my gosh, I really hate this.
You have to go. Please go. Do what you have to do.
Yes.
Please do. Go do what you have to do.
Okay, just I will be very quick, but see what is happening here. That is what we are living in right now. And just pretending that this is not happening is not going to help anyone. I believe the West will have to get involved. If you want to, there was this phrase after the Second World War, never again should we allow for this to happen. But this is happening. And people who were saying never again on the, Victory V-Day, they're just lying if they continue to say never again, because this is happening. This is a minor Eastern European country being allowed to be taken over by a dictator, killing people just because he wants to, and pretending that it is not happening. We remember how that ended up in the Second World War with, it doesn't help pretending it's not going to touch upon you. It will touch your lives. So now I'm just asking the West to step in and to, live up to the expectations and to those values that the West is promoting and that we as Ukrainians are fighting for so hard.
Great.
Yeah, I think I should really be going down the basement. I'm sorry.
Please be safe. Do what you have to do. Thank you for your time. We're sending prayers to Ukraine.
Please do spread the word about the no-fly zone. It's really, really, really important right now.
Done.
Thank you.
Done. Please be safe.
Yes. And Ben, the point that she made about the no-fly zone, at one point, we spoke about that after the State of the Union about the no-fly zone. And I really didn't believe that Biden had grounds for a no-fly zone, to actually push that agenda. Right. But Ina made it very clear, and it just escaped me, and I'm so glad she brought that point home, is that we have to remember that Ukraine had the third largest nuclear arsenal in the world. Right. And when Ukraine gave that arsenal up, they gave it up with certain guarantees that they would be protected. And so now I am of the belief that NATO and Biden, I gave Biden an A for this situation. That was an A then. I'm in the new semester now. So that grade has dropped the letter. And I'm saying that because I am convinced, Ben, that the U.S. is acting in a capitalistic, selfish-ass manner and not pushing that no-fly zone. Because, see, now when I say a selfish, capitalistic manner, folks, I want you to understand what my thoughts are. See, it's not that you don't want to go toe-to-toe with Putin. You got NATO. You got the unity of NATO. So it's not as though it's the U.S. versus Russia. No, it's Russia versus the rest of the world, the way the situation is played out right now. But the problem is there a concern about oil prices going up? Because now you don't want, if you go in there, I got to believe that there are probably oil companies here who feel like it's in their best interest that we don't get involved with the no-fly zone. And they would love to do that so that oil prices continue to go up and they can continue to make an incredible amount of money. But the fact of the matter is, what the sister just said, is that at the end of World War II, we said never, never again. And I understand if you want something you never had before, world, you better be willing to do something you've never done before. And in this case, with Putin, invading a country like this and committing acts of genocide, placing himself right there on, if there's a monument, if there's a place to be built to recognize evil men, and Ben, I have to disagree with you. I don't know how you could be a good, I can't remember what you said.
Great man,
a great man and be an evil man. I don't.
No, great man is a concept from political science. He considers himself to be a great man along the lines of Alexander the Great, the men who are in history, the people who shaped the world order. So he considers himself to be in the annals of the pantheon of Genghis Khan, great man. But clearly he needs to understand that every great man, Hitler, was in history a great man because of the level of destruction and world-changing order that had to come as a result of his evil. So that's why I want to make sure everybody understands. No, not everybody. No, I was talking directly to Putin because, I mean, come on, man, like. That's a whole nother conversation. I need him to understand a great man does not necessitate him being a good man, because even Hitler changed the world.
Yes,
Putin.
Yes. But Ben, here's the thing that I want to say directly to these folks in America. When I was watching the news, it was amazing, Ben, how when they asked Russian people, do they believe that Russia is unjustly invading Ukraine? And based on the indoctrination of information that Putin is giving the Russian people, these people absolutely believe that Russia is liberating Ukraine. That's what they absolutely believe. And Ben, I couldn't help but contrast that to the absolute idiotic thought. Now, for everyone, and I know that you got some trolls on your site, for every one of you Trumpsters, when you can look at the news and see that some of the Russians absolutely believe that they're there for humanitarian reasons, that's you believing that you didn't lose the election. That's you. Every time Trump opens his mouth and you believe the big lie, that's you. Those of you trolls that are on the site right now, that's you. All you Russian supporters who believe that January 6th was to protect democracy. One of the things that Ina said, she said, even though in their nation, they are fiercely opposing each other, in their democratic government. But at this point in time, their government has pulled together. Go ahead, brother.
I was going to say, so she's letting us know, our guest, and I'm praying for her. We're sending prayers to Ukraine, right? We just got into the weeds, but I don't want to negate or forget the fact that she had to rush off the scene in order to get into a basement. That sister, right? She is a sister because she is now facing the oppression from Vladimir Putin, right? We have to be sure to everyone, I don't care who you pray to. I don't care if you pray to the flying spaghetti monster or you don't pray at all. I need us to send energy now to the people of Ukraine, because this is a monster trying to take over the world. And Brother Mac, to your point, I simply think that I think people miss the fact that this was an inside-outside job. That Vladimir Putin is a part of a global pan-reactionary movement that is not just trying to take over Ukraine. And this is what they're saying. They're saying there's propaganda. The propagandists, the people who caused this chaos. Well, that's my music. We can talk about this more in a second. Brother Mac, it's in your hands.
Well, Ben, I'll wait for you on the other side of it. I don't know if we have an opportunity at this point to do our Black History Moment of the Day, but if so, I'd like to get it on right now.
Oh.
So,
no, let's do that. It's in your hands. Black History.
Hey, Google, what happened on this day in Black history?
Abolitionist and entrepreneur James Forten was an American.
Hold on one second, Ben. Hey, Google. Volume 7. Hey, Google, what happened on this day in Black history?
Abolitionist and entrepreneur James Forten was an American patriot, having fought in the Navy during the American Revolution. Opening his sail-making business in 1798, he employed over 40 workers, both black and white. His wealth was estimated at over $100,000. A fierce abolitionist, he strongly opposed the American Colonization Society, which sought to return free blacks to Africa. Forten passed away on March 4, 1842, adapted from Black Heritage Day 4 calendar by author, lecturer, and civil rights activist Dr. Karl Mack.
So, Ben, I got to tell you, even though February ended Black History Month, every day is Black History Month. Every day is Black History on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. So,
amen. And shout out to my friends who taught me that it's Black Future Month. That might have been Black History Month. March is going to be Black Future Month. Dr. Mack is in your hands. We can get to a break. And when we come back, we have Professor Harvey Kaye. He's going to be joining us, and we're going to dig even deeper into the inside-outside job, how they infested Ukrainian domestic politics so that they can get something on the international stage. Let's go to break. We'll be back.
Good morning, people. Y'all know what it is. Like, even when I die, I'm William TJ Exclusive is in the building. I've been on the vibe kind of. Good morning, everybody. In between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, man. We got more coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Good morning, everyone. Doing 80 to the house, then I hit it to the sky. Change haters on a tirade. Talking to the crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same. We all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to enlighten. Trail spill from my lips, feel big from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grip, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, pin myself on the map. I'm long with the wind, but we knowing that it's cap. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making moves while I'm at. I'm still on the grind, limit time when I chat. I'm burning down sage, keep the demons away. When I write to give a piece of myself to the page, I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made.
From the glass in the mirror, do it at me, old man, trying to pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Y'all stay tuned, man. Uncle Eric, good morning to you.
Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes.
Laura, good morning.
No breaks on the ad, but it's all
Elizabeth Lonzo, Sonny Wright, good morning, everybody.
Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came
Lily, good morning.
I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past
Elizabeth, Big Piece, what's going on? XOXXO Bob, good morning.
Young, reckless, gold in my soul, got the same on the necklace.
Chris Lionheart, Six Dragon Daddy, Prosper Down, good morning. Good morning, Mom and Daddy. Know y'all there watching. And good morning to my beautiful nieces, Sarah and Maya. Good morning, y'all. Snack Panther, good morning. Tiger, what's going on, Tiger? Right, Tiger. Second guest that we've ever had on our show that has to jump off the Zoom because of airstrikes. That's a lot, man.
But your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, I ain't been right more than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me.
Queen Abby, good morning. Boondocks Dragon, good morning. Rona Dragon, what's going on? 1ATL Country Boy, good morning.
No, you just can't.
Lily, if I missed you, good morning.
No, you just can't hurt me. No.
Good morning, y'all.
And it's easy being petty. My mama used to tell me, gotta use you when he ready. Man, it's crazy how my brother said it could have been my cell. It's either prison or a grave. That's what everybody tell me. Man, life ain't a beach, it's a female dog. I'm staying 10 toes down, though I still might fall. Oh yeah, now I done came through, knocking pictures off your walls. Loving people who persecute you, it's still a tough life. On my path and a limp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat, and I feel like disrespect, help me turn my other cheek and say sticks and stones may break my bone, but your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, I ain't been right more than I've been wrong, and it still
Mary
can't hurt
C.
me.
G-Man, good morning to you.
No, it just can't hurt me. No. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No. See, it's hard to be polite. It's easy being petty. Mama used to tell me, gotta use you when you're ready. Cause I ain't working on my own timing. Ain't got no diamonds on me, but I stay shining. Yeah. They say the world would be a better place if we take out the hate.
Stop all the hate right now.
Yeah. Let's keep it real. It'd be better if we just subtract the fake. Yeah. So be a light up on my path and a lamp under my feet. I know my faith strong, but my flesh still kinda weak. When that victory be looking like the verge of defeat, and I feel like disrespect, help me turn my other cheek and say sticks and stones may break my bone, but your words can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, I ain't been right more than I've been wrong, and it still can't hurt me. No, it just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No, you just can't hurt me. No.
Too consumed, but every part of my body is telling me to run.
All right, y'all. Make sure that you stay tuned. We got more coming up next year on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Even though Georgia Ford is not here, we are still on the clock. Good morning, everybody.
Do you believe in the promise proclaimed in the Declaration of Independence? Do you believe that all of us are created equal and that we have a natural right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? And do you also believe that we should guarantee those rights to all Americans? Of course you do. So let's think about what that means. On January 11, 1944, President Franklin D. Roosevelt, FDR, delivered his 11th State of the Union message to Congress. The United States was in the middle of its biggest and most consequential war, pitted against Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. But Roosevelt didn't just talk about winning the war. He also spoke of what Americans needed to do to win the peace to come. In a speech to Congress that day, he called for a new Bill of Rights, an economic Bill of Rights. This republic, he said, had its beginning and grew to its present strength under the protection of certain inalienable rights. They were our rights to life and liberty. As our nation has grown in size and stature, however, as our industrial economy expanded, these political rights proved inadequate to assure us equality in the pursuit of happiness. The words that followed are among the most radical in presidential history. We have come, FDR contended, to a clear realization of the fact that true individual freedom cannot exist without economic security and independence. Necessitous men are not free men. What he then proposed would be seen as far left today, though, as he reminded his fellow Americans, it was not a repudiation of the promises enshrined in the Declaration and the Bill of Rights, but a continuation and realization of them. Indeed, only with economic rights could political rights be made real. As Roosevelt said,
"In our day, certain economic truths have become accepted as self-evident. A second Bill of Rights, under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station or race or creed."
The rights Roosevelt was proposing, a right to a home, to health care, to earn enough money.
I want to jump in there and introduce Professor Harvey Kaye to the conversation, along with our brother Alan Minsky, and we are here with Dr. Carl Mack. I want to jump into this because I need to tie a couple of threads together. First, we said something behind the scene about how all this connects together to the international stage, and I want to make a little pin here, if I could. Professor Kaye, could you first talk about the economic freedom of Black people and why it's necessary for us to have that economic freedom for us to get our liberation? Because while I looked at that video and I see FDR, and you and I have talked about him extensively, Black people were left out of the equation in a very significant way. So that we don't belabor that problem too long, can you just sum up that economic freedom for Black people and reparations?
Okay, well, let's start out from the fact that the New Deal, as FDR had envisioned it, was to be universal for all Americans. But of course, Southern Democrats, who were, segregationists and white supremacists, they found a way into the legislation that would literally leave out agricultural workers and household workers from the two key elements that we think of in terms of the New Deal: Social Security and the National Labor Relations Act. But when he spoke in 1944 and called for an economic Bill of Rights, it was well aware of the imperative of making it clear that he envisioned an economic Bill of Rights for all Americans. And I would add that October, this was in January, that October when he reiterated his call for the economic Bill of Rights on the campaign trail, he also, for the first time ever, actually called for an end to voting, an end to the exclusion of certain peoples from voting. He called for the right to vote for all Americans. Now, it is the case that the New Deal was intended for all. It was not. What is, to me, interesting is the degree to which figures, first of all, like A. Philip Randolph, recognized the power of those words. And in the 1960s, he came back, that's Randolph, and proposed a freedom budget in 1965 that would have addressed all of the concerns of poverty for both African Americans and white Americans, both urban and rural, and indeed it garnered the support of 150 plus civil rights leaders, labor leaders, foundation heads, academics. And the tragedy at that moment was that Lyndon Johnson, who was eager to celebrate Randolph's vision and FDR's vision, allowed his commitment to the war in Vietnam to override the creation of racial justice and equality in America. And then I want to point out, however,
let me hold you right there, because I think that's an important part as we talk about the build up to Ukraine, and I don't mean to phrase it like that, but I think it's very clear that all the money that is going to war, that will potentially go to war, is money that's immediately taken out of our politics domestically, and Black people in this country being at the bottom of the totem economically in some key indicators. Programs are going to be devastated. I want to bring in Alan Minsky into the conversation really briefly. He's the executive director for Progressive Democrats of America, and we're discussing a call for all progressive candidates and office holders to embrace a 21st century economic Bill of Rights. I want to talk about that left flank of the economic conversation and the intersection of race and class. Can you talk about that in context of your article and everything you're working on?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to absolutely concur with you about military expenditures and our proposal. If you do look at most other technological industrialized societies in the world, they basically have fulfilled the tenets of this Economic Bill of Rights, that the United States of America has failed to do so. One thing conspicuously absent from all those other countries, from East Asia, Europe, wherever in the world you have prosperous technological industrial societies, they don't have massive military budgets like the United States. Now, as per the question of the Economic Bill of Rights, the Rooseveltian legacy, and structural racism and economic racism in the United States, the work that we built off of Professor Kay and I in actually deciding upon which 8 measures we would include, we built off of largely 2 previous works on 21st century Economic Bill of Rights. The very basic template that Senator Bernie Sanders put forward as he put forward 6 Bill of Rights, and the work of Professor William Darity, Derek Hamilton, and Mark Paul in their article from 2018, where they proposed 9. And from Bernie's template of 6, we actually sort of have more phrases in ours, so we probably really have about 10 or 11 in there. But 2 of them that were added in from the work of Professor Darity, Hamilton, and Paul were the right to sound banking and financial services. But I think most importantly, and of course, Professor Darity is himself one of the leading advocates among contemporary economists for a very, very strong proposal for complete reparations for African Americans. And it's the actual phrase, the right to a meaningful endowment of resources at birth, added into the one that has, then after that, and a secure retirement. So Darity's work is of course, very, very focused upon the issues of reparations. And so I feel that at least in the inclusion of those and also our full echoing of their work, we have a proposal for an Economic Bill of Rights that would harmonize with the push for reparations.
Dr. Mack.
No, right now I'm just so overwhelmed. And gentlemen, I'm looking for where I can go and find this progressive Bill of Rights so that I could take a far more in-depth look at it. Because as I'm listening to you, clearly it has my utmost of attention. And so, Professor Kay, one of the things that was ringing to mind as you were talking about what was happening with FDR is that whenever it appears that war hits, somewhere white America gets a consciousness about Black folk. When the American Revolution hit, I mean, there were times in the colonists where they talked about, let's not import any more slaves, let's everybody have freedom and dignity. Now I'm listening to you when World War I came, there's this consciousness about what was happening with Black folks. When 9/11 hit, all the patriotism, everybody's got flags going around, it's United of America. But once it appears we come out of these crises, that reversion back to white supremacy and the oppression of Black folks occurs again. And now it could just be my slanted look at things, but I'd certainly like to get your take on that as well as telling us where we can find this progressive Bill of Rights so that we can all take a far more in-depth look at it.
And we have some images, by the way, Dr. Kay.
Well, I was going to say it is posted at Common Dreams, the website. You can find it there. I also want to point out that I'm not seeking to correct you, but fill out something rather important. In the wake of World War II, there was a serious effort on the part of, actually, in the Economic Bill of Rights, Proposal 44, the labor movement and what we came to call the civil rights movement both actively supported FDR's re-election because of this Economic Bill of Rights. And when he passed away in 1945, that commitment remained strong, especially in the CIO unions, the industrial unions. And also A. Philip Randolph himself continued to push by way of what we know of as the March on Washington movement, which actually originated in 1941. He was pushing for a whole host of initiatives, such as the desegregation of the military. And of all people, Harry Truman actually launched the very first Civil Rights Commission during his first few years in the White House. And they issued a pamphlet, which actually becomes in many ways a kind of place for the civil rights movement to begin a broader kind of action in favor of racial equality. Yeah. Now, if I could sorry, I didn't mean to go on too long, but I do want to point out as well that I left out a very key thing about this Economic Bill of Rights. And the reason I harp on this is that we really need to understand that this is been fundamental to the progressive tradition ever since the 1930s. And when I say progressive tradition, I mean in all its diversity. In 1968, not long before his assassination, Martin Luther King Jr. issued another call for an economic Bill of Rights. And there is no question the inspiration for that came from FDR through A. Philip Randolph to Martin Luther King Jr. And later, here's another point. This economic Bill of Rights was actually in the 1960 Democratic platform. So it's been there, and it's been lost by the Democratic Party. And we feel it's imperative for progressives to not only fight to take hold of that past and advance it, but also, of course, to win seats and take hold of the Democratic Party.
I want to refine this now and turn our attention to Ukraine, because we have to keep our eye on the urgency of the moment. Democracy itself is under attack. Help us to understand the inside-outside game from an economic perspective, because a lot of the Russian soldiers are shocked when they get into Ukraine and they realize, wait a minute, these people are not oppressed, but they're going there as workers themselves to fight against other people. Professor K, would you tie that knot together?
Well, that's a tough knot to tie in some ways, but let me put it this way. We, for the past 45 years, and we know any number of decades before, but especially during this past 45 years, the democratic achievements of the 1960s for workers' rights, for African-American equality, for women's rights, came under siege starting in the 1970s. So what we've witnessed is 45 years of anti-democratic initiatives. In other words, a class war from above, which is, by the way, a class war from above against working people, again, in all their diversity. What we need to think about now is, can this economic Bill of Rights provide a platform and a basis for progressive politics, and also for the creation of a kind of, if you like, a united front of progressive forces, especially in the face of the crisis of democracy we currently face. And I think that when you think about, we know that the Russians have been lied to. There's no question. We know that we don't even know the full story regularly. But it is the case that what we need to appreciate is that the struggle for democracy, true democracy, is not only at stake in Eastern Europe, very much at stake, and those people are suffering and enduring punishing attacks. But it's also the case that the struggle for democracy is underway here, and progressives need to step forward with a vision rooted in American history that offers a really promising future.
I think I thank you, Professor K. I think I like to, Brother Mac, I like to think of Professor K as my Doc Brown, and I'm Marty something Blackfly, I don't know, but we always go back and forth on these issues. I want to bring Brother Minsky back into the conversation, because I think I got it. I listened to Professor K long enough. Help me to walk this through. I think if you have my signal, let me know. If not, I think what we're seeing, Brother Minsky, is the model that will be used here in the United States. Because if you think of Ukraine, we just did that interview, and our sister, the member of parliament who had to run into the basement, she looks like she is prosperous in her pre-invasion state. It looks like Ukraine was doing good before Putin got in there. I wonder what they're going to say when they get to Flint, Michigan, when they get to the burned out cities of the Rust Belt, when they get into some of these impoverished cities in the South, and then Putin and Xi Jinping decide to say, listen, there's a real crisis in America. What happens when they get a case study of what it is to be oppressed inside of a system in need of liberation?
Wow. By the way, I'm a huge fan of the show, and the absolute depth and complexity of the issues you're raising, again, are just proof and point. While I always love the Ben Dixon Show. It's a phenomenal show, and I'm honored to be on it. But boy, man, there's a lot there to unpack. I definitely view, and by the way, PDA is a multi-issue organization. So, of course, I've been fully engaged in doing bunches of interviews and conversations with people on the Ukraine And I mean, we're actually co-sponsoring an event on Sunday with Daniel Ellsberg and Bill Fletcher, member of the German Parliament, about this, an international event. But okay, we obviously have a struggle in the third decade and the last decade, by the middle of the decade of the 21st century, internationally, between the rise of these autocracies and the crisis of American democracy. And Donald Trump, whatever we make of his connections to Putin, I think he was building off a template that sort of Putin perfected of like establishing autocracy in the 21st century. You win an election and then you set about dismantling the democratic infrastructures of the society where you won the election to consolidate the personal gains of your power and to set up an autocracy. Of course, across the world, we have the Philippines, we have Brazil, we have India, we have Hungary. And then, of course, we have the fascist movements across Europe that are competing for democratic victories there. And this all fits in with the inability of neoliberal capitalism to in any way address this intense class structure that's emerged and consolidated. And of course, as for the long history of American structural racism, again, the prospects of economic gain in community after community after community are completely stalled. And yes, that makes many communities across the country, and you see this with the appeal of a kind of anti-democratic, proto-fascist politics in working class white communities across America. And then we also hear rumors, of course, I mean, the statistics are and they're beyond anecdotal, but the idea that, you know, Trump made gains among black male voters and black Latino voters. And is that some of the pull again, that neoliberalism offers no way out, that, some kind of a doubling down on authoritarian nationalism does? That's a false promise. Absolutely. And what we want to do, and the reason we've brought this forward now, is from our perspective, the big talking point for myself in interviews is that coming out of the 2016 election and through to the present, we now have three very pronounced, broad political movements inside a two-party system. We have the Trumpian racist reactionaries on the right. We have the neoliberal center running from the Romney wing of the Democratic Party through the Clinton wing of the Democratic Party. And we have the progressives. And that the only of those three groups that promises to actually uplift the population in the ways that people want to see transformations in our economic system are the progressives. The other two groups will make claims to it. We know from the middle group, now 40 years of history, that there are no change in terms of the economic class structures in the United States. We're stagnated inside this incredible wealth inequality, lower social mobility. And then on the right, of course, it's a completely false bill of goods, right? You basically have it even going further than the moderates in terms of tax breaks for the wealthy, some adjustments around trade, nothing else whatsoever, and it offers no promise. Whereas the progressives actually offer a promise in terms of what? Not a utopian fantasy, but basically adopting the policies outlined by Roosevelt, outlined by Philip Randolph, Martin Luther King Jr., and then also are in practice in basically all the other industrialized technological societies in the country, where you don't have go ahead. Sorry, long answer to that.
And I because you were listing the names, and I don't want to miss the rest of the names. These are policies that I'm going to read off here. These are policies that are supported by Pastor William Barber. It's supported by Professor Cornel West. These are policies that are supported by Sister Nina Turner, who was on the show not too long ago. Corey Bush out of St. Louis, Chevron Jones down in Florida. Like there's a black political delegation who are in line with these. And I might, correctional Chevron Jones, I know he supports these, but I don't know if he's directly connected to this. I don't want to make that assertion. But I want to read these off with the 1 minute we have left. These are the Bill of Rights. This would address the issues that we see in the blight in the black community. It's hard landing this plane sometimes, but I need people to be able to see that what we're fighting for on the international level is the same thing we're fighting for on the domestic level, is the same thing we're fighting for on the local levels in our local communities, and that's the liberation of all people. Professor K, if you would read to us out of the Common Dreams, you have the 8 points right there. The right to a useful job that pays a living wage. Would you just read those for us as we get ready to go to break?
Sure. The right to a useful job that pays a living wage and to a voice in the workplace through a union and collective bargaining. 2, the right to comprehensive quality health care. 3, the right to a complete cost-free public education and access to broadband internet. 4, the right to decent, safe, affordable housing. 5, the right to a clean environment and a secure planet. 6, the right to a meaningful endowment of resources at birth and a secure retirement. 7, the right to sound banking and financial services. Finally, the right to recreation and participation in public life. And I will note, for everyone's sake, since I saw Nina Turner on your show, Nina and I, well, I'm a fan of hers. I'm hoping she's a fan of mine. And Nina we consulted regularly with Nina as we constructed these.
Oh, wow. That is good to hear. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We'll have to get you back and we'll discuss these nuances a little bit more.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back with more of the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show after this.
You're a little bit crazy. It's been days, but you never change. What's love got to do with it? He comes around, better.
All right, everybody, make sure that you stay tuned. More coming up next on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show. Like it or not, is coming up next. Y'all want to stay tuned for this? Good morning, y'all.
So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly. Bye-bye. 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 You're a little bit selfish. You get mad every time you lose. You can't take me with you. I'm scared you're gonna blow your fuse. Come a little bit closer. Yeah, I can really start over. Yeah, in the back of my mind, there's someone waiting on me. You're just wasting my time because you're scared and lonely. Finally got some closure. Yeah, I can finally start over. Yeah, so all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly.
Shout out to our new Twitch subscribers, y'all. Barbara G, good morning. Iris Jones, good morning to you.
Here's to the memories.
New Twitch subscribers. We have Sunshine Drea, who resubscribed. Been subscribed for 6 months. Frost Banana resubscribed as well. Also subscribed for 6 months. Rachel Letney resubscribed. Just subscribed for 8 months. And also the Chicken Fried Dragon gifted a subscription to Pixie Phoenix. What's going on, Chicken Fried Dragon? And also Felicity 91 cheered 7 bits. Shout out Felicity 91. And also shout out Dolores M, who joined the Lion Patreon, man. Patreon.com/the BPD show. Y'all make sure y'all join, man. Like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Wherever you stream from, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. Wherever you join from, man. And y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. We got more coming up.
Bye-bye.
But Jotel wasn't here yet. Good morning, Mom and Daddy. Good morning, my nieces and nephews. Love y'all, me. Hey, y'all, just to let y'all know, I'm a social vegan. I'm avoiding meats. MEETS.
Your words are like bullets now. Sometimes they hurt. I stay high when bullets fly. Out of reach, won't be coming down. I can't wait till it's over. Can't wait till it ends. You got a chip on your shoulder, and I don't need to pretend. Yeah, we are alright, alright. What's better?
Good morning to you. Hey man, my wife told me to take the spot out instead of killing it. So I did. We went out, we had a few drinks. Pretty cool guy. Said he works as a web developer. Olivia Jones, happy Friday to you.
Just wanna get lost. It's the only
Right, Shay.
thing I wanna do.
Oh man, I sat 3 hours in the movie theater last night, yesterday afternoon, should I say, and I saw Batman. Batman is off the chain. Go see Batman. Go see Batman. Go see Batman. I can't say it enough time. Go see Batman.
You don't know what you got. You don't know until it's gone. You don't know what I am worth. Your words
Yeah, Hustle, good morning.
now. Sometimes they hurt.
The Batman. That is right. 3 hours long. But it was a dang on good 3 hours, man. It was like watching a comic book actually on the screen. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Come on, girl, you better say that. Truth the Dragon, good morning to you. Afternoon, maybe where you are. Or should I say good night, maybe? Right.
But I'm breaking my habit because you turn me on to my heart's desire.
Right, Miss Nuru. They are always rebooting something because what it is, people seem to have forgotten how to write scripts or make movies of their own, so they reboot everything. Good morning, Juanita. Robert Pattinson did pretty damn good as Batman. I will admit it. Robert Pattinson did pretty damn good as Batman. I was impressed. I said it. I said it.
To live without your love, it's like I've been waiting around for you. Why?
Right, John. Me too. It was surprisingly good.
Maybe you were waiting around for me too. So
XOXXO Bob. This is
some kind of magical.
This is the Walking on Cloud 9. Sorry, I got This is Walking on Cloud 9 by Zetterberg. Good morning, B. Left his best. Good morning. Best, good morning. Grand rising to you as well, Emily Brown. What's going on? B, good morning, B. Dwayne, I got you.
Set me free, you believed in me. Now you're here with me.
TFC, good morning to you.
Oh, we're walking on
Right, Shay. They got the sound. Y'all remember the sound from Motown? Oh man, new music. If you're looking for something good to listen to over the weekend and want to have a vibe and just reminisce on Outkast and Old Dungeon Family, Earth Gang. Make sure that y'all check out Earth Gang. When I tell y'all, my God, today, Dwayne, you knew about it, Dwayne? Bro, I blame you, man, because here it is. I didn't got sucked in the black hole. I didn't went and download a list of everything they done got. No, not until like the past week. Fire. It reminds me of Outkast, and I love it. Did you say who? Oh, man, I thought you said Kanye. I was like, wait, Dwayne, you got that? Right. Oh, yeah, Dwayne, the chat is going crazy. Everybody, oh, yeah, Earth Gang is fire. Oh, yeah. Thanks, y'all. Thanks. Yeah, man, definitely make sure that y'all check out that album, man. It is dope as hell. Definitely gonna be listening to it for a while.
Face towards the stars. Feel my beating heart.
Y'all stay tuned. We're gonna be coming back in momentarily here, y'all. So make sure that y'all stay tuned, man. Y'all make sure that you stay tuned. You don't want to miss what's coming up next.
Touch your ones that go numb. Heart beats like a drum. Feel your fantasy. It is up to me. Stay in this moment. Just hold on, hold on. We got tonight, babe. Tomorrow is gone. You and the moonlight. It's all that I want. It's all that I want. It's all. We can try to stop it. It's a natural high. I know I'm alright when I look into your eyes. Give it to me, funky, funky. Give it to me. Give it to me, funky, funky. Give it to me, yeah. We can touch the sky, babe. It's a natural high. I know I'm alright when I look into your eyes. Give it to me, funky, funky. Give it to me. Give it to me, funky, funky. Give it to me.
You don't mean nothing to me. E-boys like you every dinner. I don't believe what you preach. You're just a rookie beginner. Hang out with boys on the street. Like that will make you a winner. I don't believe what I see. Why you wearing gold?
Let's get it.
You're nothing more than silverware.
All right, y'all.
Thinking you're so bold.
All right, cool. Y'all welcome back to the screen, my brother from another mother, Mr. Benjamin Dixon. The crowd goes wild. And let me tell y'all too, yesterday I kind of I cut Ben's head off a little bit. Because I love him as a friend. So I just want y'all to know I love my brother Ben. And sometimes you just have to cut your family members out. So that's all I had to do yesterday.
My head clean off.
My apologies for the cuss words as well yesterday, but he struck a nerve, so I had to, You
so
we good. We good.
My butt. You sub-zeroed my butt, man.
I'm sorry. I had to get over here. Had to come on.
And I was like, and I'm going to be honest with you. It took you and my girl, my sister from another mister, Rebecca Azor. She'll be joining us. I looked at the clock. It took y'all an hour and a half to coach me to what was wrong with me. And that was the fact that I got a lot going on and I need an assistant. And I was tripping on y'all a little bit. So my apologies as well, brethren.
Mm-hmm. Anytime. We love you. All love.
Not like Black Brother Love. Listen, speaking of Sub-Zero and Scorpion, I want to bring in another sister from another mister. We've been trying to get our sister on the show for a minute, but this has been a tumultuous year. Her name is, her Twitch handle is Stygian Stilettos. And she is a Black gamer girl. Sis, welcome to the show. Hey.
Hey, how y'all doing?
What's going on, sister?
Ooh, it's been a morning. It's been a week.
A week.
But, just trying to live my Black life. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to live my happy Black life. So
I hear that.
Speaking of Black.
Absolutely.
I was going to, James, I'm not really good at flossing, man. I was going to try to do it. I didn't know what Stygian meant until last night.
God damn it, Ben. We said we were going to talk about this.
Say that again.
You didn't even know how to say it till last night. Let's be honest.
Listen, I know. Wait a minute. I know your country ass ain't coming on this show talking about somebody. But wait. I'm playing. Listen, she and I go way back. And I forget about because we know each other from the internet, and it always throws me off whenever we jump on a call, and it's like, wait a minute, this gamer chick is from the South, like Chitlin South, like Hog Moss Fatback South. Tell us about
absolutely
that. A Black woman.
Hey, look, those jokes that people make about the South are legit. Absolutely. Those jokes people make about the South, let me explain something to you. 100%.
Is that us? Is that me?
Okay.
Right. Yep, Ben, you froze. Oh, there you go. Now you're moving again. You see your big head is like a shadow. There we go.
Yeah, I'm on location and I'm trying to get a decent signal. But listen, talk to us, because I know. Listen, I used to be a gamer. I'm not a gamer now, and James, I know you a gamer now. Tell me about the community, because it was hard enough just being a gamer. Then if they find out you were Black, they'd be like, in this, in that, in that. I can't imagine being a Black woman and then being a Black woman from the South in a bunch of white bros who got power. Talk to us.
Oh, and you know what? Some of the worst ones claim to be sisters too. You would be shocked.
Hello?
Oh yeah, the ones that were dropping seed bombs on me and calling, accusing me of being a massa lover and all that. Sisters. Okay, so trust and believe. White supremacy is so permeating. And I do want to say, it's one of the most diverse communities I've ever been in. Mm-hmm. I'm actually shocked when I joined Twitter, because we are old school gamers. I'm used to N-words flying and all that when you go into a chat room. But actually, there's a lot of sisters that are gamers and that are Final Fantasy VII gamers in particular. That's where a lot of my content is. Women from all across the a ton of women. So it's a very diverse community, and I love my community very much. But there still are vestiges of racism, and yeah, eventually, especially see, racists don't like being checked. So the moment I spit some facts at them, even over a video game, the racists always come out eventually. I'm a C word. Because I don't know what I can say, so I'm just censoring myself. I'm a C word. I'm a B word. I'm a bed wench, anything else you could come up with. It all just boils down to, I can't out talk this sister, so I got to say something crazy. You know what I mean?
Always. And they're always going to try to talk reckless when they don't know. They always think that you're not competent enough, that you're dumb, and just all kind of stuff that they want to throw out there and think that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Like, no, I do this. Not
knowing that I'm a senior software developer, and baby, you can't out talk me. Okay, I know I got this country accent, but don't let it fool you. Okay.
Drop the credentials. Drop the credentials. That's what I'm talking about.
What I'm telling you. I've been Black in the game too long for you to out talk me. You understand?
Right. Now, Stygian, on your channel, what are you? I know that you've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII. So where are you at? Tell us a little bit about your channel and what you've been doing on there so far.
Sure. So my main focus has been Final Fantasy VII. It's a game that was released in 1997, but recently has had a remake. So I've been putting a lot of content out for that. However, I will be expanding to God of War. There are some new games coming out like Chrono Cross, Strangers of Paradise, different games like that will be coming out eventually. So I will be making more content. I'm actually also starting a gardening series that's also around Final Fantasy VII.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be really cool. And I'm actually going to be starting that up next week. So, and I'm going to be starting a politics series around Final Fantasy VII. So very excited. I just love being a geek. I just love being a blurred.
I love it. When I tell you, my niece will love you. My 16-year-old niece, her birthday is next week. But when I tell you, she's playing Final Fantasy VII right now. I've played it and I've beaten it like 2 or 3 times. I'm like the biggest nerd geek when it comes to Square Enix games. I have been a Square Enix games player in a long time. Y'all, I'm geeking out right now, by the way. So y'all, people in chat don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it's okay.
I got my cloudy pillow with me. Okay, Cloud and Tifa for life. Let me see if I can. They belong together. All right. Exactly. I love it.
So look, when I tell you, once you're in it, and it's amazing to see that you're using Final Fantasy VII to tie into things like politics, the gardening, because everything in this game, it's just like that, y'all. If I don't know if y'all understand and realize some of the jobs and things that you do, a lot of the game is based off around these things. So you can bring this into the real world and center it around those things. So shout out to you for doing the work, sis. I like that.
I appreciate that. Yes, you have so many themes in this game. You have eco-terrorism, anti-capitalism, anti-imperialism. The company that's at the head of all of the grief going on, they actually run a city. It's a corporatocracy. They spread propaganda throughout the media. They're constantly running coups and conspiracies throughout the world. They're starting wars. It's actually the developers of the series were almost certainly children of people who lived or relatives of people who lived through World War II. So it also informs you in that context because Midgar is based on New York City. You even look at the president of Midgar, old white guy, fat white guy with bottle blonde hair, who is the face of a city. That ring a bell in New York City. And then Wu Tai exactly
all day
exactly. And then Wu Tai is the war is who the war is against, and they're all based on Eastern aesthetics. So you even have World War II, implications tied into this game. And you have children. So almost all of the people that fight in this war are children. They recruit people as young as 13, 14, including the main character, Cloud Strife. He left to join Midgard's Midgard's army because he wanted to impress his childhood crush, Tifa Lockhart. And but he disappeared for years. They hadn't seen each other in 7 years. He reappears in Midgard. They have this fateful reunion. And then she is actually part of an eco-terrorism group called Avalanche because Midgard has been mining a resource that, it's supposed to be akin to oil. Essentially, by draining a resource from the planet is killing the planet. But Shimmer is constantly spreading propaganda. So people don't realize that they're killing the planet. It definitely reminds you of big oil. They knew 30, 40 years ago that using oil was bad for the planet, but they hid it through propaganda. So that's exactly what it ties in. So she's part of this eco-terrorism group, and she asks Cloud to join her. And so that's where the game begins. And it goes into so much more than that, but it is just an amazing game. And the way that they tie all these political and even religious references together is just incredible.
And it's funny that you're talking about the game. And of course, I know everything because I played it myself, played it through. And it's just like, this sounds like some stuff that's going on in the real world right now. I'm just like, wait. She's talking about the game. I had to remember, wait, she's talking about the game. Now, Sturgeon, I heard that you bought... Look, exactly, it is. If you haven't played this yet, Final Fantasy VII, only on PlayStation. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Definitely need to play it. I think it is a version on Xbox, so you can play that one too. But any Final Fantasy series, I rocks with all the time. Now, I know that you bought a clip with us today, a little teaser. Tell us about the teaser that you bought with you today.
Oh, yeah. So it's essentially what I sort of went over just now. It's just giving you a little taste of the politics that goes on in Final Fantasy VII. So I threw together a little 1.5-minute teaser, and I hope you all enjoy it.
Yep, let's take a look.
The corrupt capital city at the heart of the story of Final Fantasy VII. It is split into 8 sectors, and there is a top side and bottom side, separated by massive metal plates. The topsiders live comfortable lives, while the people at the bottom live impoverished lives in what is called the slums. Midgar is a corporatocracy run by the Shinra Company, who came into prominence for manufacturing weapons. They control everything from the government to the media, constantly spreading propaganda to further their influence and solidify their stranglehold on the planet's resources. Lately, they have been mining a resource called Mako, which is the lifeblood of the planet. They use it as an energy source, much like oil, but using the resource is killing the planet. The story starts off with what FF7 fans call the Golden Trio, who have all been personally affected by the destruction and chaos wrought throughout the globe by Shinra. Cloud Strife is our protagonist, a swordsman. He used to work for Shinra but disappeared years ago without a trace. At the beginning of the game, he reappears in Midgar and has a fateful reunion with his childhood crush he grew up with in Nibelheim, Tifa Lockhart. She herself is now a master martial artist, business owner, and has been in a fight to save the planet alongside our third member of the Golden Trio. Barrett Wallace leads a faction of a larger organization called Avalanche, which has vowed to destroy Shinra in order to protect the planet and keep them from using Mako energy. They meet 6 other team members along the way, and together they help save humanity from destruction.
That's dope as hell. Y'all don't understand how big of a geek I feel right now. See, like, I got some video game stuff here. I'm so happy. I'm sorry. But I digress. Welcome to the screen, Benjamin Dixon and Rebecca, y'all.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, Rebecca. I'm such a fan.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm in this moment, and these guys have been telling me so much about, you coming on, and she's a gamer, and they're like, Rebecca, you don't know her? I'm like, I've seen her in the chat, but tell me. They're like, no, she's a gamer, and she's XYZ, and to see you shine so bright in educating us and doing your thing, and girl, let me tell you something. Accent or not, your accent is beautiful, and I don't understand why people attach that to you being uneducated, but you just spitting and then being a gamer and then knowing politics and knowing your stuff about the climate. You know what I'm saying? It's good stuff, and all in the gaming world. So I'm not in the gaming world, but I was able to understand how you was. I was able to pick up what you were putting down. So yes,
I appreciate that, and trust me. People who are already inclined to think I'm stupid, trust me, the black skin has a lot more to do with it than the accent. So
man,
I don't let it bother me. I'm a black woman with an afro, and I rock my afro proudly. Dark skin, you see what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
Yeah, right.
Oh, beautiful. I am now a fan of yours. So thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Oh, Ben is here too. Hey, Ben, how you doing? I'm sorry, I had to knock on him. We've known each other too long.
That's how long have you and Ben known each other? Where did you guys meet? At a gaming place?
God, I don't know. No. It was 2015, 16. It was definitely during the Bernie Bro years, It was
Twitter. We met on Twitter, and then YouTube. I started my YouTube. So actually, we've known each other since when I got started back in 2015 with the stream, and it was right around Bernie Sanders, and that's where we linked up.
Yeah, you and Michael Brooks were the first people I globbed on too.
Shout out my boy, Michael Brooks forever. Ooh, but it's good having you on.
Yeah, great having and great
Most
being
definitely.
On.
So, Stitchin, what are you playing next? I know you said you're gonna do a few more things. What's next on your to play list?
All right, later today, or maybe tomorrow. I don't know. It'll be today or tomorrow. I'm gonna do Final Fantasy X. I also picked up Elden Ring.
Me too.
Yeah, Elden Ring is apparently going to be a beast, but hey, I'm up for a challenge. And then, like I said, Chrono Cross. I bought probably 6 or 7 games. I bought an Ace Attorney game. I've never played Legend of Zelda, which is my my shame. So I have a Breath of the Wild. But you know what?
Zelda was never one of my and people are gonna cancel me after I say this. Zelda was never one of my big go-to games. First one was cool because it was on a system that came out in 85, 86. So I'm like, cool, it's fun. It was all right. But now I'm just like, oh, it's Zelda. It's cool. I know the Triforce, I know everything else, but yeah.
I feel like sometimes when you miss the train, you just miss it. It's like me with Star Wars. Like I was never, like my brother wasn't into it, so I wasn't into it. And I got everything that, initially from him. So
right.
He basically made me into his mini-me. He had me playing chess at like 4. I mean, just the nerdiest stuff you can think of.
That's my niece. When I tell you I went on and made her my little protege, I'm like, oh yeah, Marvel movies, DC movies, video games. Like I said, she's playing Final Fantasy right now, and I'm sure after I finish Elden Ring, she's going to take my copy of Elden Ring too.
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, speaking of Batman, since you mentioned comics, Robert Pattinson actually was talking about Final Fantasy this week. I don't know if you saw it. His take, it's clear he has not played the game in 20 years, and that's fine. But I have to say the take personally aggravated a lot of Final Fantasy VII fans.
Yes, indeed.
Don't knock him. He's doing his thing. He's been too busy being a millionaire to play the game. Just saying, if you want the actual take, come to a real fan. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, why is he dropping shade on the show, man?
Sorry. You can look that out. But feel free to I'm just saying.
Right.
I love it. I want to throw something at y'all real quick, and James, you take it wherever you want to take it. But listen, if y'all promise to let me talk a little bit about Star Trek and a little bit about Doctor Who, I think we need to do a blurting out section as much as y'all want to. It's just an idea, but James, it's in your hands, man.
That would be fun.
I have not seen either. So I've seen some of stuff. And I've seen like 2 episodes of
Look,
but I'm perfectly happy to talk about it. I'm quick on my feet, so.
If we talk about the Next Generation, maybe Deep Space Nine, I can jump to Picard. I've started watching Picard now, so we can do that. But yeah, Ben, you might.
Anything Chris Pine was in, I can talk about.
Yes, there we go.
Because he was definitely my crush for a while.
Okay, I'm back. My internet is as old as me. I'm a boomer, apparently, but that's fine. But I loved it. I love this. I absolutely want to salute you, what you're doing with your channel. Tell everyone how, my name is James. That's your thing. I'm sorry, man. I'm getting out of pocket. Let me just be quiet. Go ahead, James.
No, you good, man. Go ahead. Finish.
It's hard, man. It's hard knowing when to go back and forth. Lead, follow. James, do your thing, man.
Stygian sis girl, thank you again for joining us. Yes, tell us how you can be reached and where they can follow you at and follow the channel and everything else so we can build you up some.
I appreciate that. It's been really incredible being on the show just in this short amount of time. I had a blast. You can catch me at Stygian Sis on Twitter. You can catch me at Stygian Stilettos Gamer on YouTube, on Twitch. I do have a TikTok. It's either Stygian Sis or Stygian Stilettos Gamer. Trust me, you'll see me if you find me. But that's how you can catch me. I also will I'm revamping my website, so I'll be putting that up again soon. But yeah, mostly just check me out on Twitter.
Yes, indeed. We got you. Again, thank you for joining us. Keep doing the work. Look, and make sure that you notify us and let us know when you're streaming so we can make sure that our tail is there, okay?
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, sister. All right, y'all. We're going to take a quick break, and once we come back, Ben and Rebecca will be joining us again. Until then,
it's time for my 9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like it or not is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change game like we're supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news, we get to choose what gets the views. Like it or not, with Queen Azor, it's starting now, so stick around. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, y'all stick around.
Yeah, you can just lead us on. Look, I guess everybody else got disconnected.
It's coming through. You know she got a good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog.
Hey, Miss Sophia.
He's a politics
pro.
Your DJ.
XO, I know. He's on location, so that's why we can't see him. All that good.
I stay dropping them jams.
like it or not.
Cyril, sit yourself down somewhere. Hey, Cyril.
Y'all stick around. Oh, like it or not. It's starting now. Like it or not. It's about to go down.
Like it or not, with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Of course you did. That's okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh. Right. Rebecca. Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not. We refuse to tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it. So y'all, I went to the store the other day, and when I went to the store, I saw this girl and she kept talking, and I was just like, what's going on? And like, of course we having some technical difficulties, y'all, so I'm acting like Rebecca and I'm telling y'all the story because Rebecca got a story. So I went in the store and I picked up this shirt that was in the Black History Month section, right? So when I picked it up, Hey, Rebecca.
Am I back? Okay, I didn't know. I was like,
it was perfect. I ended just right.
Oh, hold on. I'm not muted.
Waiting for the punchline. I'm sorry. That was all me. My internet went completely out, threw off everything. Sorry, folks.
Can you guys hear me?
It switched to your other mic, Rebecca.
It was not me. I feel like that was something Dwayne did. But
No,
it was me.
it went to the other. So I'm gonna give the people watching some behind the scenes stuff. So Ben y'all can see he out in the sticks right now today, joining us remotely. And when his picture
sticks
dropped off, it threw everything off. I got these people lined up in different boxes with their name and title and stuff. So if I'd have came back, y'all would have saw Rebecca with Ben's name, and we didn't want to do that to Rebecca. So had to get some stuff.
I'm surprised you didn't want to do that. What? I'm surprised. Let me check.
I was gonna leave you alone today, yo. You about to
Want
start?
to do that? Had me over here looking crazy.
You about to start? I was gonna leave you alone today.
But
your hair already took up 2 boxes.
I got nothing. Morning, y'all. I feel much better this morning. Thank y'all.
Dwayne, did you mute me?
No, Rebecca. I'm like, what is going on?
Good morning, Rebecca.
Rebecca, what are you going through? We hear you.
You guys are talking, but I don't.
Headphones we bought her.
We hear you.
Oh, there we go. I hear you now. That was my bad. I put the in.
Oh my God!
Look, you see how fast I got thrown under that bus? You see how fast?
Oh my God!
Oh man.
But anywho, good morning, y'all. Welcome to Like It or Not. Tell the truth and not care who don't like it. Yeah. It is a Friday, so that means it's kind of more laid back. You know what I'm saying? Ben is out there in the sticks, but if you guys see the view that we see, if you can just do a Dwayne, if you could just do a full shot of Ben so that they can see his nice background. He's posing for you guys, so go ahead and do that at this point. Like, look where he is. It may be in the sticks, but it's like a nice view because we're getting the spring vibes. You know,
Rebecca,
spring is that you player from the Himalayas. What's up?
Rebecca, look, come on full screen, Dwayne. It's like, welcome to the white supremacist recapitalization center here in America. This looks like, I am Benjamin P. Dixon. I'm your CEO. Here we make sure white supremacists stop.
It's giving more of a country accent with that hat. You should have added that.
It is.
Hat you got on.
Give me crack corn. I don't care.
That's what it's doing right there.
I feel like we should see.
There's a lawnmower in the back with the big deer, little sign on there. Yeah,
y'all seen that picture of Rick Ross on his tractor on his farm? That's what's missing from Ben's shot. Y'all ain't seen that picture?
No, I seen him cutting down a tree. Very very cringy, but yeah. You guys didn't see him cutting down a tree on his farm?
No.
I
didn't even know Rick Ross had a farm.
Rick,
He got cow. He
bought
done start
land.
buying
He just
cows and everything.
he bought cows. He bought all kinds of stuff, and he was like, man, they done wanted me to pay $1,000. Rick Ross, the boss, ain't about to pay. He went outside and then he took one of them little thingies, saws, you know, or is that what it's called, the saw?
The chainsaw.
Chainsaw. And then he went and took down one of the trees. And then I went to Twitter immediately because, you know, they have more of their thoughts and how they have the conversations. I just wanted to see if they felt like me in that moment. Because everybody was like, that's right, $1,000 was too much on Instagram, right? So I go to Twitter and then the lumberjack Twitter. Those people, they were like, honestly, he could have hurt himself. The way that it fell, it could have fell on him. He did cut it in a way that was not right. And I was like, see, I knew something was wrong about that. I don't like that we do it for the gram so much and not knowing that we put our lives in danger for that. And then they were saying, and then I wanted to ask the question, is $1,000 too much for cutting down trees, right? And then the lumberjack community, again, came back on there and was like, actually, that is a bit on the lower end of things. We're talking about huge, you know, trees, the work we have to put in. Not only are we cutting them down, we are removing them and, you know, taking them off the property. There's so much that does go into that. And I'm like, Rick, you got money. You got money.
You got money.
Okay. You have so much money that we ain't even know it. Okay. And now you out here like putting your life in danger. And, you know, I know it probably was a joke, but he actually did cut it down. He cut it down. And I was so afraid that
man almost died.
That thing could have fell the other way.
He almost died for $1,000.
$1,000 per, but he has a big land. He just purchased more land. So for each one, and I guess he didn't want that. He didn't want to make that payment.
Because then, I mean, it makes more sense because they doing all the work. You do $1,000. I mean, now you breaking the tree down yourself. Now you got to cut that tree up into several sections and start removing pieces. Come on, Rick Ross, you got more than enough money, Mr. Wingstop man.
You know that was for the gram, but you know that was for the gram. So I'm pretty sure that he did hire somebody to do the rest of the work. But I just, in that moment when I seen that going on, I said, Jesus, be a fence, be protection, be a hedge of protection, Lord, because I did not want that to fall on him. I really didn't. I didn't.
Instead of hedge and protection.
It protects us from our own stupidity sometimes, right?
Right.
Anywho.
They protect us, but you know, I don't think I'm going to die over $1,000, Rick Ross. I know you got enough money to do that, homie. Let's be safe. Let's all be safe out here.
Nope. Like, ever. Mm-mm. Like, that money, you got so much money, utilize it. You just bought all this land, you bought these cows, these horses, whatever other animals that you're purchasing for your farm, you know, and I just think, you know, don't do it for the gram. People die every day, the celebrity or not.
Yeah,
they die every day. Anywho, there's so much going on in the news. I know I say that every day because it's true. I know sometimes we have slow news days, but that is not something with this week or this month. I mean, hell, 2022,
this year,
throwing it in our face like nobody's business. However,
throwing it in a circle.
You're just throwing it in a circle, child. But I really, y'all,
I hate every one of y'all on the screen and behind the scenes right now.
I am trying to move forward with a serious story, and y'all just have me like, what's wrong with y'all? What is up with y'all? Anywho, again, there's so much going on in the world. I mean, I think for the first time ever, we were really excited to hear about the recent case where we got some justice. And I feel like a lot of the times when we hear about the people who are passing away at the hands of not only law officers, right? We're talking about regular folks who think that because they're white, they can abuse power that they don't have to. It's just like, do you go here? Do you live in this neighborhood? Like, you don't even go here. So yesterday, I thought for a second that we were going to get something for Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
However, yesterday, it turns out we didn't get anything. A jury on Thursday acquitted Brett Hankison of all three counts of felony wanton endangerment in the botched raid that left Breonna Taylor dead. Let's take a look.
We're following breaking news out of Kentucky. A jury has acquitted the former Louisville police officer connected to the botched police raid that killed Breonna Taylor.
The jury found Brett Hankison not guilty of wanton endangerment. Prosecutors say he fired several shots into the apartment of Taylor's neighbors during that botched police raid. A man, a pregnant woman, and her 5-year-old son lived next door. Hankison testified he fired to protect himself and his fellow officers. No one has been charged with Taylor's death. With the acquittal of Hankison, where does this leave the prosecution now? And of course, while this trial was not about Breonna Taylor, does this mean the case is essentially closed on her death?
It is closed in reference to the entire raid, as far as we know. We know that the DOJ is also looking into the practices of the police department because, as we've noted, this was a botched raid. There have been a lot of questions about why they went into this home, not 100% sure that the person they were actually looking for was there, because at the end of the day, Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, were not at the subject of that drug raid. The person who is living alive and on probation, as a matter of fact. But as far as the wanton endangerment charge, I just wanted to break down what that is. It's defined as a person under circumstances manifesting extreme indifference to the value of human life who deliberately engages in conduct that creates a substantial danger or death or serious physical injury to another. As you mentioned, the 3 people who were in that apartment adjacent to Breonna Taylor's did not suffer any serious injury, did not suffer any death. But one of the people in that apartment, Cody Etherton, did testify that the bullet came within inches of his head. Again, the officer in this case, former officer Brett Hankison, testified that he essentially thought what he was doing was protecting those who he believed were shot at. There was 1 shot fired by Kenneth Walker, as we now know. He said he was doing it because he didn't know what was happening at that time. He fired 1 shot. Police fired 32 shots. Breonna Taylor was killed.
He fired 1 shot. They fired
32.
Breonna Taylor was killed. And so, and this is my problem with the rhetoric that law enforcement wants to give. They were shot at. If you shoot at any law enforcement, they're going to say, they felt endangered. Now imagine the homes that are getting broken into, people who are sleeping peacefully, and this was a botched raid. So breaking into somebody's house, no knock, right? The no-knock warrant, those kind of things, and breaking into somebody's house and somebody saving themselves, somebody trying to protect themselves and their loved ones. And in that moment, right, this is where the police officers are saying they feared for their lives. The math isn't mathing. And I thought in this particular moment that we would see something. I mean, we saw, like I said, recently for Ahmaud Arbery, all 3 of his killers were deemed guilty. And here we are in this moment. We've been dragging this on with Breonna Taylor for 2 years now? March makes it 2 years. So, and now I feel like in this time, I hate to see it because I just feel like, ooh, this makes me emotional. I remember when I thought about, when I heard about Breonna Taylor, and I really wanted for it to be just so much more than a hashtag. Especially because she's a woman, and we know how, already our Black men are targeted and gunned down. And when it comes to women, the story just gets swept under the rug. So I was glad that it got what it got. But even in that, you guys, it just kind of wasn't enough for the law to say, let's take a real good look at this. It's almost like we don't give a damn. We don't care. And so now I feel like, I'm sorry, again, Breonna Taylor, that we allowed, and I repeated this before, I put this up when, her story went viral, but that we allowed your wall to get more justice than you.
Damn, Rebecca. Damn, Rebecca. Damn.
It really sucks. I
want to.
I'm sorry. Situation. No, go ahead, Ben.
I was going to say Breonna Taylor was killed with a no-knock warrant, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, we're looking over at Amir Locke in St. Paul. You know, we're covering that. And that brother was killed also with a no-knock warrant. And here's the thing. They're asking, they being this system, America, the police departments across this country are asking us to be calm when they kick down our doors. And we must immediately, instantaneously have the wherewithal to keep our composure and not react startled, because if you act even startled, you get killed. If you assert your Second Amendment right and shoot your gun, then your girlfriend, Breonna Taylor, gets killed. And I'm wondering what human being on the face of the planet can keep their composure when a bunch of Gestapo sorry, wrong show, wrong mindset. Let me slow down. When these police officers kick the door down and come in like the stormtroopers on Star Wars, and they expect us to be calm or else they'll kill us. It's a little math. The math is off.
Yeah. Baba.
You said it all. That's after you said that last part, is nothing else left to say after that. Like, for real, you speechless. It's like the wall really got more justice than Breonna Taylor did. Just y'all think about that. There's nothing else left to say after that.
It is. It's tough. Like, I don't know that girl. I don't know that girl. But
we share the same birthday.
See? Everyone I feel like who goes through, when I looked at her, I really just, she should have been here. She was at the time when, we were calling them essential workers, because, they're doing away with all COVID conversations, but she was an essential worker, and, she's taking care of folks.
That's right. That's right.
And that was her job. And she's sleeping with her man. Who knows what kind of day she's had before. And her life was taken because these cops abused their authority.
That's right.
And when they took her life, they tried to pin everything on her partner for trying to protect her and him in their household. That was the first thing that happened when I first read the story. They were shot at. They wanted to push that narrative. And I can't believe that almost went somewhere, because everybody on social media was creating the conversation saying, well, you don't understand. They were shot at. They were shot at. They were shot at. And when we got the full story and the full account, when we finally were able to do that, because the boyfriend, they did take him into jail. They did try to put it on him. Mm-hmm. And this is where I say, I was talking to someone literally yesterday, a man who's trying to court me, who is a man of the law, y'all. My God, I know. And I had to tell him literally, because he's like, "Why are you so what is the reason?" And I had to say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down to Z. Beyond that, alphabets in different languages. These are the reasons why I feel this way about law enforcement. Right. And it's not that I'm saying that all law enforcement are bad. But the system, not only law enforcement itself, like law enforcement officers, but the system wasn't created to protect people that look like me or you, for that matter. Because once you take off that outfit, baby, they don't mess with you in any way. Right. And he told me his experience while he's working there. He says it's a really racist situation. Not only is it racist, I get treated differently because of the accent that I have. And, only when I'm in here and I put this on, I realize, why people are looking at me like that. And then I had to break it down to him, and he didn't even argue with me, but I had to help him understand. Do you remember Breonna Taylor? Do you recall what happened with her? Do you know the story of Ahmaud Arbery? Do you know the story of the ones who aren't even law officers who take up arms just to shoot people because of the color of their skin and still get protected by people?
That's right.
They get burgers purchased for them. They get walked. They get fist bumps. Do you understand?
Because they're sons. Those are their sons. These. I'm sorry, Rebecca. They of course they're going to handle little Dylan Roof with care and take him to get Burger King because they know that is their son.
Yeah. They're going to say somebody had a bad day.
Right.
Come on, ATL shooting, spy.
You know? So there's so much that goes into this. And then, I just want people to understand Breonna Taylor deserved to live, and we should not allow that conversation to die. There's a lot of times that we just feel like we can't get justice for these opportunities. So we just kind of just in our heart have our own funerals for these people finally. And then before we can even get to a place where we're like, okay, this happened. We went through the trauma of it. Somebody else, someone else.
After another one and another one.
It's tough. I just feel like Breonna Taylor is a special case. Not that she's a special case because she's the first one. No.
Come on.
So many more. Particularly, when I say special, it's the women that are dying, that get nothing. The stories can go viral as they want to go, but nothing more. It doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
It doesn't. There's nothing that comes of it.
That's right.
And all we know is that we have these dead women, these women who have been murdered, that we know at the hands of the police officers, and nothing comes of it. I wish that those officers got what they deserved. But I can honestly tell you that because of the color of these officers' skin, they got off. Not only that, the jury that they choose, guys. I watched a lot of these movies and these shows when they're going off or when they're covering different cases, especially cases of Black people. And strategically, what's happening is they'll go and try to pull an all-white jury, especially in towns where they know there's conflicting thoughts about Black people. Yep. And I'm like, how is this possible? How are they able to do this? But when I try to think when, Black lawyers and things like that be trying to do it, it's not really a successful thing for them. But for some reason, when the biggest cases, where the eyes of the world are on it, they can just simply find themselves a racist judge, and then get them an all-white jury with 2 Black folks to say diversity and inclusion, and put somebody's fate, in their hands, the justice in their hands. Yeah. Knowing that they're going to go off of, that was a police officer, and people really don't want to see it for what it is. They're just going to take that one fact that they were shot at. But what is the story? What really happened?
At my door.
Oh gosh, I really, really, I pray that they keep on fighting for this. She deserves. She really, really deserves. She deserves. Kentucky. Ooh. Gobbleneck guy.
What's that? What Daniel? What's that?
Cameron.
Oh, that's right.
That boy.
Yes, all of those people included in, being able to help and not helping.
That's right.
I know that there's a special place for you.
Hurting.
Whatever hell.
Hurting. Because that boy actively did what he could to stop Breonna Taylor from getting justice.
Oh, he actively did that, and then went to the middle of the whole situation, go and get married to, and I don't even want to call her Becky because I'm Becky with the good hair, but she went over there and got married. This is what we know. He has a place that he wants to be in, and the only way you could do that is to play the house slave.
Play the game.
And let them, abuse and use you, and you're gonna look crazy. You're gonna look like Sotomayor, oh boy, that be talking crazy in the name of Donald Trump to this day. He's still talking crazy to this day.
He's crazy about you else though, right?
No, except for that one thing about my nails and him wanting to, do me. That was disgusting. Ugh.
Wait, what's happened?
The guy he was so mean. Yeah, a few years ago, Sotomayor. What's his first name?
Tommy
Sotomayor.
Uncle Tommy Sotomayor.
Yeah, Sotomayor. He did a whole clip on me about what I looked like because I was talking about, I believe, Haiti. He did this whole clip on me. He done found me, child. You know, because I'm that girl. He found me, did this whole clip on me, called me a chicken head, then said, you know what, but she is fine, though. I will, like, he was talking about how long my nails were, and he said that he will do me, and it made me uncomfortable because I used to get those comments all the time where white folks used to be in my comment section and be saying how they would rape me.
Wow.
And kill the baby. Yeah. Anywho, that's neither here or there, but that's who I think Daniel Cameron reminds me of. Anybody who supports or is, you know, seeks after white folks and or white people who are not for justice, white people who are not allies, they'll play like their fiddle. They'll sing their songs. They'll go get a jar for every Karen's white tears and drink it. Those type of people. It's problematic. But the thing is, what's really problematic is that we have them in spaces that are where they get the most views. Sotomayor should never get the most views, but he does. What we're talking about, YouTube will say it's dangerous rhetoric to have these conversations. Yep. But what Sotomayor is talking about will definitely get pushed right after watching a CNN clip of them talking about Breonna Taylor. Sotomayor will come up next, right? And then what we have is people who are in spaces and places that they can make a difference, like Daniel Cameron, who look just like us. But how, you know, Dr. Matt likes to say all skin folk and kin folk.
Right.
So, and that what I want people to understand is all those protests that happen in Kentucky, all those, you know, pulling up to the Daniel Cameron's crib, all of that happened wasn't in vain. It just, what happens is these people who are in power, they'll push and make sure that the us talking about it dies down, and we'll just go to the next thing. And I just don't want us to remove Breonna Taylor out of our mouths. We're talking Oprah even put her on the magazine. Oprah is the only one that's been on the front of that magazine since she made that magazine. She put Breonna Taylor on the front of that magazine. If the most powerful woman in the world was talking about this and bringing attention to it, I don't understand how they want us to just forget about it, but they will. That's the thing, and I'm fighting every day in my power just to be reminded that there is Breonna Taylor in the world. And then the young little girl who looked just like her that was shot down by police officers, you know, the foster child, Ma'Khia Bryant. And, you know, they look just alike to me. I'm like, they could have been.
They never start I'm sorry, go ahead.
These are what I'm talking about, and people will make excuses. Ma'Khia Bryant was the young 15-year-old girl who was shot down by police officers. Literally, the car wasn't even stopped yet from the police car. Jumped out the car and shoots her dead. Police. This is what the arguments that I have about funding the police conversation, because you guys, like, if we're funding police to literally shoot on sight without really you're trained to run up on people. You're trained for that. You're trained to de-escalate it, right? When it comes to physical, you're trained for that. But that 2-hour training that you had, right? Now you get on the force, now you scary, and all you doing is pulling out a gun. So you can say you felt like your life was threatened.
They don't want to box no more.
They don't want to do it. They don't want to save lives. Literally, this is the job that you chose. And a 15-year-old girl should be alive, and Breonna Taylor should be alive. She should have been alive to see her birthdays. She should have been alive to enjoy her partner. She should have been alive to move forward in the career that she wanted. That little girl should have been alive to choose a path that she wanted to go to, whether it was college or doing hair. Because she wanted to do hair. She did her little TikToks where she was laying down her edges because she wanted to start doing some hair. She should have been alive to do more in her life. We shouldn't be looked at as target practice. And then when after killing us, it's like, oopsie, yeah, my bad. I was afraid. You know. Yeah, it shouldn't be like that. It should never be like that. So, shouts out to everybody still keeping Breonna Taylor in their mouth, moving forward with the movement regardless. Breonna Taylor changed the world, just as George Floyd did.
Rebecca, you said something. You said something that I don't want to forget now that it just came back to me. You said that there's a difference between going viral and getting justice, and that we were able to make her name go viral, but that wasn't enough to get justice. So there has to be a few more steps further. Thank you for saying that.
Yep. I don't know what it is. I don't know how we can make a difference.
Right.
And we've done it all. It's like we get these opportunities. They was shooting us and we didn't have any like real proof. Then we got it on camera.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, speaking of, isn't that another day in Black History today? We did one, but if my memory serves me correct, one of the first videos that, and maybe y'all are getting ready to come to that, but I just think the Rodney King video was one of the first times we saw that was yesterday. Man, and we still ain't got justice. What 30? How long ago? In terms of having video footage, it's not enough. It's not enough. Just getting killed.
It's not enough.
No, it's not enough.
I still don't think anything is wrong with it.
Yeah, they asked for proof. We gave them proof. When I watched the Emmett Till story, those people were literally saying, "Well, what makes you so sure that was Emmett Till? What, is there going to be a duplicate ring that his father left behind for him on this body? Well, how much proof do we need to show? Well, how much? It's never going to be enough. Ben, that's really how I feel. Bubba, that's really how I feel. It's never going to be enough. Every day I think about my life when I wake up. Every day I think about my dad. Every day I think about my nephews. Every day I think about my niece, my brothers, my mama. I think about all of us who have to wake up every day in this world and have to think about how we're going to just be presenting how we're going to present ourselves in the world today. When I go to my grocery store that's predominantly white, how do I present myself in this grocery store today to not have these white folks think that I'm trying to make them feel some type of way and scream bloody murder of me trying to reach over and get some hot sauce?
Remember, see, this is what they. Go ahead, Rebecca. I'm sorry.
I mean, no, go ahead. I mean, there's so much that we have to deal with. Us not getting justice
on a daily basis.
On a daily basis, us not getting justice in the middle of a pandemic. Us seeing somebody die over a fake $20 bill. Us seeing somebody die, a knee to the neck. Me seeing a black child in the middle of a mall recently, who was provoked by a white kid to prove something. And he was trying to protect himself. And these mall cops come and protect the white boy and have literally get that little black boy on a young black boy on the ground.
Mall, New Jersey.
And tell him that he's banned from the mall. Then the Victoria's Secret Karen who cries bloody murder because the black woman who told her, "Step off me," that's all she said. And all of a sudden, the mall cops there tell the black woman she's problematic. She is the issue. We have to save ourselves time and time again, and sometimes our words, our proof is not enough. Not sometimes, most times. We got to save ourselves all the time. The people who are set to protect and serve are not doing it. That's why some communities are afraid to call the cops. Because once the cops pull up, they shooting. We saw somebody who had a mental health crisis in the middle of the street.
Oh my
and
God.
The black person who was with them was shot.
That's right.
And they're the ones that called the police. What? Where's the justice for any of these people?
Didn't that officer just get like the guy you're talking about? The one, was that the guy laying in the streets with his hands up in a mental health crisis?
And the officer got off. I think it was recently. Yeah.
We can't get nothing. But we will.
Y'all know. I was about to say, y'all know they gave us George Floyd and what was the other case? Dante Wright's case. Yeah, Kim Porter. When they I guess they gave us those to try to appease us and to make us feel good, so we forget about Breonna Taylor and everybody else that's out there. But no, we'll never forget, and it's never going to be enough. Never more.
Kim Potter. You said Porter.
Porter, Heifer. That's her name.
Because Kim Porter is Diddy's ex. Just gotta make sure.
Okay, that's
rest in peace, Kim Porter.
Right. Kim Porter was that okay? Potter.
Yes. But even Kim Potter, her sentencing JT from the City Girls, JT from the City Girls literally talked about how she served the same amount of time for was it food stamps or whatever it was,
credit fraud,
and yeah, and so 2 years she served that time, and then Kim Potter, who killed that she was
murdered
reaching for her taser, that she was reaching for her taser, but
what was
got
that
her
sister name
gun.
that shot up in the air in self-defense against her husband or her boyfriend who was being abusive? She shot up in the air in her own home.
Man.
I can't remember her name. It's too many names, but she served years for just shooting a gun in the air in self-defense. And Kim, whatever her last name is, Karen, we need one more K, got 2 years, 16 months for the life of a black man, black child.
Yeah. See, we just named just 2 of them. Basically, if we're gonna literally out of all, not even 2 of them, we named not even less than 1%, because there's so many. And not even in my lifetime, before my lifetime, when I watch, like I said, when I watch Emmett Till, when I watch what happened to people like what's her name, the singer who they handcuffed to the bed, not even handcuffed, who they literally shackled to the bed.
Billie Holiday.
People who are fighting for the cause, who are when they drop pole bombs on communities, and you know, when we got so much that at the hands of the feds and law enforcement, people that are supposed to serve and protect.
COINTELPRO,
killing us.
Flood our communities with crack cocaine.
Dropping that off and then putting folks in jail for it. We have people who are serving time, who are serving so much time, 20 years to life for selling drugs. Kim Potter, 2 years
months
for killing somebody. So, you know.
But there's a bunch of mamas in jail. See, what they forget is that they like to look at jail and say, oh, they're not human anymore. No. There's some aunties in jail. There's some mom, and I'm just saying, you know, if this is a state level offense that she got this time for, so she's going to state prison. I'm sure they might want to I digress.
You already know she's going to get special treatment. She's going to be in isolation in a cell all by herself on the other side of the prison with the older women, the ones that's just like chill and don't have nothing else to do. She's going to be in that wing. She's going to be there for 2 years. That's what they're going to have her at. Ain't going to be nothing wrong. She's going to have easy peasy in there. It's going to be Martha freaking Stewart in the jail because Martha Stewart chilled when she was in prison all that time. So it's going to be the same thing for her. For killing a person, you getting treated better on the inside than you is on the outside. But you got to come home.
It's going to be really nice. You know, prison is like home. Jail time is like for special treatment people. Like, they're going to make sure they give special treatment coverage and things like that. We saw what happened to Kim Potter's home after, when people were protesting. They quickly barricaded her joint, put up fence, and protected her home and had surveillance for her home. But they didn't think about, Dante Wright's family. They didn't think about, I don't know, y'all. I just get really frustrated. We can go on and on for days about this. I just think, I'm just going to point out that I don't see us getting any justice for our people anytime soon. I'm glad that we got something for George Floyd. Something, very much something, but it wasn't what I thought would be a great outcome. But we got something. And I don't want to keep settling for something. I don't want to keep settling for, hush. Okay, this is what we gave to you. Now, can you stop? Can you stop talking about these situations? You know, can we not do this anymore? That's what I don't want us to settle for, because we don't even know it. Ben, we talked about this. Sometimes we get numb to the deaths, the murders. Sometimes we get numb to what the justice system is doing, not only to people, to us, ourselves. We get numb to it. We almost become just like it's just normal. I don't ever want it to feel like that to us, but at the same time, that we got so much trauma in our own lives dealing with our everyday stuff, to us having to relate to when they're killing our people, because when we look at them, we see us. When we look at them, we see our brothers, our sisters, our cousins. We see our mothers and our fathers. We see that when we heard George Floyd yelling out for his mother, we instantly were children ourselves yelling out for our mother.
Yes.
So there's so much trauma. There's so much trauma.
And we're calling names. I'd be remiss if I don't call my boy, Corey Jones, who was killed by a police officer. We played music together I knew him for 10 years. We played together every Sunday for 2 years at St. John in Boynton Beach, Florida. He was killed. Shout out to the Bible Church, my family down there. He was killed coming home from a gig Saturday night. People ask me, how do I know what he was doing? It's because I know him. Corey was coming back from a gig, and I know he had his drum set in his car. And when his car broke down, I know he had enough sense to carry a piece with him, because it gets dangerous out in those streets down in Boynton. But what we had to be sure of was to make sure that the police didn't start the narrative about Corey's life at the most convenient place, which is he's a black man with a gun on the streets of 4 o'clock in the morning in West Palm Beach. Now, that's what they do. They take that narrative, put that in the news, and then when they hear about my boy Corey, what they say was, well, he shouldn't have had a gun. But they leave out all that context. But they didn't get away with that with Corey, because we were able to put out the truth about Corey before the cops even got a chance. So too bad on that one, coppers. Yeah. I digress.
And then in that particular moment as well, you said something, and I think from here we'll just move on, but we have to take control of the narrative. We have people like great journalists like Georgia Fort, as soon as something's happening, because she's literally, to me, in the center of where it's just happening very often. Right. And I think we get the stories straight, especially like with recently Amir Locke. We get the story straight from there because she wants to make sure that the narrative and the rhetoric and the conversation and the stories that are being told are truthful. And it's being truthful because I'm talking straight to his family. It's being truthful because I'm talking to eyewitnesses. It's truthful because, here is what everyone was saying. It's truthful because I arrived on the scene to watch what happened. Right. And so even though they'll literally look at us showing them, this is green. This is green. Do you see it? This is green. They're going to say, well, I mean, if you want to say that it's green, it's actually, if we really, really look at it, is it really green? Because I see red. And they're going to go with, they'll move on with that stupid, no matter how much we could show it in a video, show it in a picture, show it on the person, show the blood on the hands of the murderer. They're going to say, but was it the blood of the murderer?
Same thing with the pandemic. They want us to pretend like the pandemic is over, but there's 2,300, about 2,000 bodies, 2,000 bodies stacking up every day, America. And they want us to pretend like it ain't really happening. Everything get back to normal. Nothing to see here.
Whew, child. So I don't care what nobody said. Bump 13 could bump 12. All right. So, listen, I absolutely want us to continue.
12?
Do
we have this conversation?
Rock and get out of here.
Why are they called 12?
We're gonna do something.
I don't know. I don't really know why they call 12, but
yeah. Why are they called 12? Anybody?
We said this and they told us, but at the same time, y'all, and hashtag Breonna Taylor, but not only hashtag, if we can just continue the conversations, and if you guys are in spaces where you can have the conversations, if you are on panels and you're moving forward with where they're talking about, the Wanton and no-knock warrants and, justice and stuff like that, don't forget to say Breonna Taylor's name in those conversations.
Right.
But in this moment, I really can't be Lil Wayne because I don't think I could date a cop. Like, I don't know if he's watching, but I don't think I could date a cop. Wee. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's the uniform for me. Let me stop playing.
But let me tell you, back when I first went into New York, I had this beautiful fling with a very handsome officer in New York City. just a very handsome man. But even then, before I was really, I was just in the streets. But before I was really knowing about police officers and what they did. I had trauma when I was 12. Yeah. I tell you guys that story all the time. But before I really understood what these police officers weren't doing, right? I was dating the cop, and I was like, ooh, child, I don't think I could go there. Not in this time of my life. Because every day I'm going to be like this. So, you arrested somebody today?
Right. For what?
For what? I was on the phone with this police officer who works in the facility, and I heard this sound, y'all. I don't know why I'm telling you guys the story, but I need to tell you guys the story. I heard tick, 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 and I'm like, what was that? And he was like, what are you talking about? I said, it sounded like a taser. He was like, well, no, not really. Well, what was that? He was like, okay, it was a taser. So y'all tasing people? Why did it sound so close?
What?
Like, well, the taser goes like over 20 feet.
So it's just sitting there vibrating, humming, waiting for a chance to be shot.
What? No, he used it. I don't think it was
using
him.
it.
I think the person...
It was freshly used. Wait, why are you so close to him and it's freshly used? How'd that happen?
No, if the taser ability...
Y'all gotta forgive me. Take me out because I'm missing my internet's bad. Forget me. Go ahead.
And then
he was on the phone, Ben. He was on the phone.
Yeah. And then there was a moment where I heard someone banging on the window. I really hope he's not watching this, but I heard somebody banging on the window, and I heard, "Hey, let me in, bruh. Let me in, bruh." He's like, "What are you doing out, man? Come on." He's like, "I don't know, but I know I ain't supposed to be out here. Let me in, bruh. Let me in." And I'm like, I heard silence for a while. And I heard like a sucking of his teeth. And I said, "Can you please just let him in? Please. I don't know what will happen to him if they find him outside of his cell, but please let him in. I don't know what he did.
Holy shit, man.
I don't know why he's out of his cell. I don't want to know. I'm pretty sure it's probably for a bad reason. I don't know why, but he needs to go inside of his cell. Let him into his cell." And then also on that phone call, I heard somebody asking for medical help. And then I said, because there was silence again. And I said, "Are we going to make any moves to get medical help for this person?" See, that's why I was like, I don't think I can do this. I heard it on the phone, and it's only been like maybe a week. Nice person, whatever. Don't know what it's like for him to wear the outfit and be there and watch the stuff go down every day. But I also don't understand why they put people in here to be rehabilitated and they're begging for medical assistance. And in order for them to get a medical assistance, they have to bang on windows, scream for assistance. And then the person that they're screaming to has to go and call someone else while somebody is potentially dying. And then they say sometimes they lie. Sometimes they're lying about that. And I'm like, the way that person was just screaming just now, like, can we make sure they get medical attention? Please.
It was. I think like he's a guard, huh, Rebecca?
Correct.
It was it was giving correctional officer, but no sheriff.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's right. Yep. Yeah.
I really thought, I'm like, you ain't no He's like, I am. I'm like, it's giving correctional. He's like, no, I'm a sheriff.
And I think technically they still correctional officers, but yeah, they're sheriffs. They listed as sheriffs because they are correctional officers with more power. That's all it is.
You're just a sheriff that works in the facility, and you're doing the same job. See, now I hope he's not watching. I ain't trying to downplay your position, but at the same time,
oh shit.
But at the same time, I just really, it's hard for me, but very nice person. Look, beautiful gowns, beautiful dresses. Very nice person, but I just feel because, like, I don't know. I don't know, guys. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. But I had to. But he was very. He listened to how I broke down why I feel the way I feel, and I added statistics, numbers. I added cases. I added, a lot to it. And he was understanding about that. So I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. But I don't know if I could date a cop. But anywho, there are two. Before we get off the show, we got 10 more minutes, and I know Dr. Mack that dropped these, and I know I had put them in what you call it. I don't know if you have them, Dwayne, and I might give you some time to pull them up. But it's the Black History. Women. I keep saying Black History. Something about Black women. Something about Black women in this month. We keep saying Black Women's History. I don't know why we keep doing that. I don't know why. It's
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rebecca.
It's a Women's History Month, so shout out to all the women. But I just feel, it's just a plus. Not only me being a woman, me being a Black woman.
Come on.
Yeah. I just go ahead.
While I have to turn my mic on so people can hear me in my meeting, you asked me for something, and I don't know what you asked me for. I just catch I'll give Dwayne time to find that. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to find.
The Black History, I dropped two of them. The Black History, the Black History clips from, they're not really clips, but the pictures from Dr. Carl
Women's History, yeah.
So once you get that, we'll end off with those two. We'll give you guys a little reading of each one because I promised them I'll do it. But moving forward, we're going to have clips of these Black History, the women of Black History for the month of March. So that's going to start on Monday. So Dr. Carl Mack, we did not forget you. Excuse me, on Tuesday. So that'll start on Tuesday of next week. So, but in the meantime, you guys, réfléchis, get your minds together. Point bonne santé. M'prier que tout le monde cap gade sa kounya. You guys just find peace in your heart and your mind.
International, right? Look at that guy.
Right, I love it, Ben. I was like, okay. I feel like I understood what you were saying. It lifted my spirit.
I didn't know. It was gibberish to me because I didn't understand it, but it sounded good. It sounded good.
Right.
But I get what you're saying too, Bubba. Sometimes you listen to something and you'll just kind of understand from the vibe of the language. You just really get it, even though I could be cussing you out. But you get the vibes. You get the vibes.
It sounded good. It made me feel good. You called me a bitch, but it's okay. I love it. It's
cool. It's been a long week for us, you guys. It's been tough.
Rebecca.
Yes.
I don't want to leave the show. I just want to mention one last time before you close out. I want to mention the member of parliament, and I want to pull up her name because I'm not really sure how that worked out. But at the top of the show, Ina Suvin, and she had to break the interview really quickly to get to a bomb shelter there in Ukraine. And I just wanted to put that at the bottom of the show because I don't know how that worked out, but we're sending thoughts and prayers and everything we can. And they asked specifically that the United States and the people of the world enact a no-fly zone there in Ukraine. That was a specific ask from one of their politicians there. And then she had to run into the basement because of bombing. So I just want to put her on the minds of the people before we close the show.
Yeah,
definitely.
It was crazy. I was in here, once I'm getting ready, I set my phone up and I finished getting ready and I heard her say it and I ran back in. I'm like, are you serious? Is this happening again? Because y'all remember it happened beforehand. We had another person on the show and the same exact thing happened. That's
right.
A crazy ass world we living in right now.
Yeah,
we would
it's
have
scary.
2 interviews, and then in those 2 interviews, you're right. That was a sister from Palestine. The young sister, and the bomb went off right in the James. Dang.
Yeah, I remember I was like, what just happened? It's
right,
y'all. It's literally like
and
these are people's everyday lives. Yeah, and Terrell, go ahead, Ben.
No. I was just thinking about like now he's on the ground there, and he's like boots on the ground and trying to avoid all the. It's a dangerous time, man. So y'all just lift people up. I don't care what you believe in, what you don't believe in. I think love is at the core of all of it. I'm sending love to Ukraine and to everybody, man. It's crazy out here.
Yeah, it really is.
Love y'all.
We wait.
I just need to take that moment of silence. There's been so much going on. I just needed to take a breather in that moment.
It's sometimes, you know what? I think it's okay to take that moment of silence because sometimes, well, you really need it, especially after what the conversations we just had and then the stuff happening with Ukraine that happened live on air. It's a lot. It really is.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you got to pause and reflect.
Well, I don't know where Dwayne went. I'm just going to go ahead.
Say la. Y'all remember that song? Say la.
Did you find it? Yep, that's okay. I want to read these too, though. I understand that you may have them off on Tuesday. No, I dropped them actually in yesterday's folder, if you could see them. Both of them that I dropped in yesterday's folder as March 1 and March 2nd. I understand, David, the order that you want in, but I just want to knock these two out so that next week we can be on task for Dr. Carl Mack.
Straight, yeah.
It was a promise that I made him, and I want to make sure we fulfill that. So
and that's from his Black women history. That's the calendar he's working on right now for Black women in history.
For sure, and
that's gonna be nice. Looking forward to all of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I just dropped it in the Slack.
And what's y'all plans for this weekend?
Oh, honey, I'm probably gonna be throwing it in a circle in my house.
Y'all listen. Y'all won't believe. Y'all won't believe.
Oh, go ahead. Tell the story, Ben.
No, I'm like, y'all remember how it was at the beginning of the pandemic going out? I wasn't going out. I was a hermit. Now, this weekend, I'm about to be playing the organ at a church, man.
Oh, wow.
I've been hanging out, but I mean, it's almost like they have really, really good COVID protocols. And I'm like, I ain't got no excuse at this point. A friend of mine, we go way back. He needed somebody to fill in. And I'm like, yeah, but COVID. And he went down his COVID protocols and I ain't had no excuse. So I'm going to do that Sunday. And then I'm coming to Atlanta next week. We got to link up.
Definitely. We're going to link up. Ben said we're going to somewhere. No, why you telling what people where we going? We can't tell people where we going. It's crazy out in these worlds, and they be all in my comment section, like, oh, where you at, whatever. But yeah, no, we're gonna go somewhere. It is not Food Lounge anymore. Now we got to change it because it's crazies in the world. But we're going somewhere else to go have some good food.
I can't see me winking my eye. I ain't got enough light on me for you to see me winking my eye, do you? Dang.
No, you don't.
Yeah. Cup of soup. All right. I got you, Rebecca.
And then when you're here, hopefully maybe we can take it to the studio and, like David said, do a live person show. I think that would be great.
Oh, that would be nice.
And be able to do that. Yes. So I'm going to start with March 1st, how Dr. Carl Mack does it. Hello, family.
Around this time, I'm kicking it with my boy Benjamin Dixon on the Benjamin Dixon Morning Show.
Hello, family. Today is March 1st, and it is another day in women's history. So March 1st is dedicated to Lottie Maureen Biggs. She's a bacteriologist. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Ben, get me right? Bacteriologist, civil rights activist. From 1895 to 1971, Lottie Maureen Biggs was born on this day, on March 1st, in 1895 in Little Rock, Arkansas, and raised in Seattle, Washington. She was the third Black woman to graduate from the University of Washington, earning a bachelor's degree in chemistry in 1916. The first Black woman, Clara Antoinette, graduated from Territorial University, now University of Washington, earning a bachelor's in science in 1876 as a bacteriologist. That sounds better. Biggs worked at Crescent Biological Laboratory, the oldest branch of the NAACP west of the Mississippi River. The Seattle NAACP was declared inactive by the national office on April 10th, 1928, together with William Wilson, the editor of Northwest Enterprise, and Clarence Anderson, an attorney. They reactivated the branch that same year, and Biggs served as its president from 1928 to 1930. In 1930, she helped founded the Seattle Urban League and served on its board of directors after the Seattle Post-Intelligencer published a degrading story on a community-sponsored health clinic. Biggs led the effort in demanding and receiving an apology. She also led the effort to defeat an anti-interracial marriage bill, House Bill number 301, in the Washington State Assembly. Oh, she was doing a lot. And she won an indictment against 3 policemen for police brutality against Barry Lawson. Moving to New York in 1937, she married Richard B. Moore, and in March 1971, Lodi M. Biggs Moore, in the words of Dr. Mack, was called home. As a former president of the Seattle NAACP, this is her quote. She says, "I look forward to sitting with you, Sister Biggs." Oh, this is Dr. Karl Mack's words. He said, "As a former president of the Seattle NAACP, I look forward to sitting with you, Sister Biggs, and learning more on the day I'm called home." That is Dr. Karl Mack. That's Dr. Mack's words at the end of that. Absolutely. And I want to read the second one as we have time right before we get out of here. Her name is Marjorie Mackenzie Lawson. These women are beautiful. Marjorie Mackenzie Lawson, a judge from 1912 to 2002. Marjorie Mackenzie Lawson was born on this day, which is March 2nd, in 1912 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, a graduate of the University of Michigan with a bachelor's degree in sociology, 1933. She later moved to Washington, D.C. and enrolled in the Terrell Law School in 1939. She obtained her law degree and passed the District of Columbia's bar. That same year, she met her husband and future law partner, Belford V. Lawson Jr., University of Michigan's first black varsity football player. Wow. Who graduated from the Howard University School of Law and passed the bar in 1933. In their partnership, Marjorie specialized in administrative law and Belford focused on civil rights cases. They successfully argued the 1950 Supreme Court case Henderson versus the United States, which ruled segregation in railroad dining cars was unconstitutional. One of the major high points in her career occurred in 1962 when President Kennedy appointed her as an associate judge in the District of Columbia Juvenile Court. This appointment made Lawson the first black woman appointed to judgeship by a U.S. president. And she's also a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha, aka Sorority Inc. Judge Marjorie Mackenzie Lawson's court was eternally adjourned on October 11th, 2002, when she passed.
Wow. It dang on Dr. Mack. He said her court was eternally adjourned.
Her court was eternally adjourned.
That was amazing.
Eternally adjourned. Come on, Dr. Mack.
2002. Listen, I can't wait to do these more of these. Of course, I'll be working on the ones for next week, and I'll be putting them into some packages for a little pep in the step so that Dr. Mack can put it on his page. Hello, family. You can definitely put it on his page on Instagram. But we are at the end of the show. Friday was a good show. I was happy to be with you guys, family. So definitely
love y'all, man.
And just enjoy our Friday. Enjoy your Friday, you guys. Love you, mean it. See you on Tuesday. Mwah.
Deuces, y'all. Love y'all, mean it. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much again for joining us this week. Awesome week it was, man. Love y'all, Ben, Rebecca, Georgia, Dr. Mack, Dwayne, David. Thank y'all for everything y'all do. We love y'all, mean it. Gonna get on out of here, yo. Affirmation for today. I am confident that my difficult days will end and I will find joy again. I am confident that my difficult days will end and I will find joy again. Y'all gonna be great, man. Have an awesome weekend. Be safe, be peaceful, and put love out there. Positivity. Love y'all, mean it. Y'all on Tuesday. Deuces.
I hope you feel that way too. No, I don't wanna lose you, baby, don't go. Oh, when I get you back, oh yeah, I promise you'll never leave me. When it comes to you and me, there's no one else I'd rather be with. When I get you back, oh yeah,